a week before Halloween, many young people from Winchester came out to Mahoney's Rocky Ledge in Winchester and decorated the windows of the greenhouse facing the parking lot. And what we have done is we've gone along to all the paintings that have been put by the parking lot here, and we've spent a few seconds looking at each of them. And when you spend a little time, these are really exciting pictures, and I think you'll enjoy just taking a few moments looking what some of our young people did. Now, in addition to all these paintings out at Mahoney's, there's a lot of paintings downtown in Winchester, but we came to Mahoney's. So if you had a child or a friend who came down to Mahoney's in Winchester and did a painting, you're going to see it in the next few minutes. Hope you enjoy them. So the first painting on the left is by Laura Dellops, and the one on the right is by Cameron Kingston. The one on the left looks like a graveyard, and the one on the right, well, I don't know, suddenly it looks like the Scream to me. And this one, the castle with the yellow background with the witch on the broom and the bat in the background, I think it's a bat, is by Donnie Coughlin. Donnie Coughlin. That's pretty good. I like that one. This one is probably the reason that the Red Sox won the World Series. You'll notice that it says R.I.P. New York, and it says Pedro, Schilling, Pokey, and Ortiz. Well, thank you very much, Catherine Burke. That was really good. Thanks. From all Red Sox Nation. Here we have one on the left by Daniel Hodges. It's a graveyard, an R.I.P. There's a, I don't know, a bat flying by and a purple sky. Great, Daniel. And on the right is by Rosalind Hodges. I guess they're brother and sister. And Rosalind has the moon, another part moon, and a big unhappy looking pumpkin. Okay, we have two more here. On the left is a pumpkin with hair standing straight up on a green background by Henry Cutchin. And on the right by Sarah Cutchin we have, wow, that's interesting. We have 3 gravestones. On top of one is a cat and the other 2 is a pumpkin. And then there's some bats in the sky. It looks like a witch doing some kind of a Irish jig against the moon. Really good. Sarah, I like that one. Okay, here we are. Looks like brother and sister team again. Kendall Cogan and Mackenzie Cogan. On the left by Kendall is a really skinny witch looking wonderfully frightening with a green face and long green nose. And on the right is a flying pumpkin over a haunted house with bats in the background. It says Happy Halloween. I guess it is a happy pumpkin. Okay, this one by Katie Powers is really filled up the page here with the witch and the cat on the witch's broomstick, and the witch is skidding through the sky with the red sun in the background, and the flying bats, and pretty good looking. I like that one. The witch is really evil looking. We have one by Emily Powers, and the next one along we'll be looking at is by Brian Powers. Emily has a Happy Halloween with a big smiley pumpkin on a really nice purple background. And Brian has gone in for a castle, a tall castle with a pumpkin by the door and various things flying around in the background. So those are 2 by Emily and Brian Powers. This one is Mr. Donut, Mr. Halloween Donut, by, I'm not sure whether it's Louis or Louise. It says Louis, so let's hope it's Louis Herbert. Mr. Donut. Not a very frightening Halloween, but really a nice donut. It's a great idea. Here's a 2 people worked on this, Annalisa Kingston and Jessica Lee. It's a big white R.I.P. tombstone with a purple background and a face that looks remarkably like a dog to me. but I guess it might be something else. But maybe it's just a big white ghost. I like the purple. This is by Caitlin Kingston and Carolyn McGuire. And I see a green field. I guess it's actually a graveyard with some fence along the background there. Various tombstones, a ghost coming out of the one in the middle, and some bats in the background, and a yellow sun or moon. Probably a moon, I would think. So here is one by Christopher Kingston. Well, it looks to me like something hatching out of something. It looks to me like a ghost hatching out of a pumpkin. A ghost with big black teeth and a bald head and little pokey eyes. This is by Christopher Kingston. This is by Sarah Fontana. This shows a wonderful lot of things up in the sky. I see stars, I see a flying broomstick, I think it's a witch, I see a bat standing on something purple, lots of pumpkins, a really skinny ghost running around in the field, and then maybe a bomb, a witch's hat in the sky, a cat on a train. The last one was by Sarah Fontana. This is by Amanda Fontana. And I guess Sarah and Amanda have the same ideas about putting lots of things up in the sky. Amanda has bigger stars, and she has some of the same ideas. I like the broomstick, only hers is standing up rather than flying through the sky. Okay, this one is by David Goodall. It looks like another of these Red Sox themes. I see Boo Cardinals, and then I see various names. Unfortunately, David, the rain has dripped through and has taken about the middle of your picture out here. But I think I see Johnny Damon there, and I see a Veritech down the bottom. I can't make out the other names, but definitely, without a doubt, David, you managed to scare the Cardinals away. Here we have the Andriozzi family. There are actually three. You can see two right now. The one on the left is by Mario. He also has managed to scare the Yankees away. R.I.P. Good for you, Mario. And on the right is by Antonio Andriozzi. Antonio has a black castle with flying ghosts. And the third one by Gabriella Andriozzi has a white alien, I would say. I would say the shape of that face is an alien face with purple background and then green butterflies, and the alien has a face with irises which are vertical, a face kind of heart-shaped. Pretty scary. Good job, Gabriella. And here we have Keegan Delury and Alexa Sitsky. And Keegan has a brown ghost with very odd eyes, two pumpkins on the bottom, and the black bats flying over the top. And Alexa has a witch in purple with striped socks. Here on the left by Lauren Vahe, and on the right by Nicole Bray. And Lauren has a black witch with ghosts and flying thingies. On the left we have the third in the Bray family, Amanda Bray, and on the right we have Julia Sirignano. Amanda has a beautiful blue background, looks like palm trees in the front, and a black witch or bat, and a white ghost with pumpkins, and the moon in the background and various stars. And Julia is clearly got a witch at her cauldron. She has a cauldron with, it looks like tulips coming out of it, but maybe it's sparks and flames is all part of her potion. And then there are various white balls in the background, probably the spells heading off to curse people on the evening of Halloween. So the last one of the witch with her cauldron was by Julia Sirignano, and now we have one by Louis Sirignano. Louis has a big white polar bear sized ghost with blue eyes and mouth flying through the air. That would frighten me if I met him. And on the right we have one by Jacqueline Vahe. Jacqueline has a wonderful, wonderful sunset. Little house on a green hill with blue sea in the background perhaps, and then the orange sky, the red sky, the purple sky, and streaking by in the top left hand corner is a witch. And then there are these white things which are running down on the right hand side. I'm not quite sure what they are, but I think they must be ghosts chasing the witch. And then there's the moon or the sun up in the top right hand corner. I kind of like that one. That's very artistic, Jacqueline. Okay, now we have two by on the left by Caitlin Cirielli and Diana Cirielli. Caitlin has the large, grumpy looking witch with the green face and the pumpkin on the bottom. It looks to me like the witch is about to kick the pumpkin, and the stars in the background. And Diana has a large purple, pink background with a happy looking pumpkin and happy looking ghosts and happy looking page. So Caitlin's very serious about Halloween and Diana is a happy Halloween person. So these two are on the left by Sarah McCafferty and on the right is by Phoebe Kelleher. And Sarah has a very large, very angry looking pumpkin with immense teeth on a black background, and down below looks like a pumpkin that is wiped out. And Phoebe has a very nice light background and a great black ugly thing with a face with vertical stripes, orange, green, red, purple and yellow, with little eyes in there and white stuff in the background. Okay, the next two are by Emily Durant Hendrickson and by Nicholas Durant Hendrickson. And Emily has a green field with an immense castle in the background with ghosts coming out the window and a witch flying by the moon and a path going up to the door. No way am I going up that path. And Nicholas has another building and he also has creatures coming out the roof. I can see a ghost with funny white, looks more like a snowflake ghost, and a cat somewhere up there, and a flying witch and flying ghosts and other flying thingies. So here we have Capri Kouliopoulos and Nikos Kouliopoulos. And Capri has a ghost with a witch standing together looking like a couple, and it says Happy Halloween, so maybe it is a happy Halloween for the ghost and the witch. And Nikos has the most amazing blue background with crosses all over it, and ghosts and witches and flying things. And here we have Giovanni Turra. Giovanni has concentrated on the pumpkin aspects of Halloween. There are pumpkins all over, and in between the pumpkins are little orange and green and yellow thingies. So this is a pumpkin Halloween for Giovanni. Okay, this one is by Daniel Boulanger, and there's another name here, E-R-I-E-P, which is written. So I would guess that Daniel and a younger brother or sister did this one, and it says Go Sox, and it says Daddy, and then it says Derek Jeter, October, R.I.P. So somebody knows his baseball. And you know, there seems to be a common theme here this Halloween, that the Red Sox Nation was out to get rid of the Sox and get rid of the Yankees and the Cardinals, and no question that it succeeded. Why didn't we think of this other Halloweens? And this is one by Max Trainer, and this is interesting. Max didn't put a background here, so you can actually look through the window into Mahoney's, and he has the most fabulous pumpkin held by the skinniest ghost I have ever seen, or skeleton, and various other flying things in the background. I think that's fabulous, Max. I really like that. That long-armed creature there wins my award so far of the ones I've seen for the most interesting things that go with Halloween. Great job. This one is by Cameron McDonald, and we have here a white ghost engulfing a pumpkin and brown creatures in the background. Good job, Cameron. This is by Cameron's brother, Ian McDonald, and we have a big white ghost with the flying black bats over the 3 pumpkins. That's a pretty scary looking white ghost, but the bats are even more scary looking. Very nice, Ian. This is by Zoe Brazier. Zoe has a black bat saying "Go Red Sox" over 2 tombstones. Both of them say New York, and she's got a big yellow sun or moon up there in the top left hand corner, and Zoe has signed this one in the top right hand corner. Very nice. This is by Rachel Wolf. Rachel has a lot of white in the background here. She is also a Red Sox fan. Go Red Sox. And she has a fence and a pumpkin and various creatures standing on the fence or by the fence, a green-faced monster, bats, and the sun. We have here yet another Red Sox Halloween motif. We have the witch, very nicely painted witch, in the right-hand top side. We have a great pumpkin, a great castle, and a good-looking cat, a good bat, and then 2 other creatures flying through the sky. I'm not quite sure what those creatures are, but they're pretty good. That's by Christina Bonacorso. This is by Amanda Bonacorso. So this is Christina's sister. And Amanda has the pumpkin, and she also has thrown in a few hearts just to be happy for Halloween. And she's got a castle, and she's got a tree, and she's got a moon, and she's got a flying thingy, and a bat. And the pumpkin has got some great white teeth. So this is another Happy October Halloween. But this is by Adam. Is that Zindi? Z-I-A-D-Y. Ziadi. Sorry, Adam, if I got it wrong, but anyway, I really like the detail here. We've got the scoreboard, we've got Fenway Park, we've got St. Louis, and we've got the Cardinals here with 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 4 hits, 1 error, and Boston with 9 runs, 12 hits, 0 errors, and that looks like a pretty Halloween. And look at that baseball. Isn't that great? Adam, you're another person that helped the Red Sox. Thank you very much. All right. This is by Ryan Van Street and Jacqueline Van Street, and it has another Go Red Sox theme. Well, at least that's what it says, but when you look at the painting, it looks to me like it's mostly ghosts and castles and pumpkins. This is by Morgan and Carolyn Trevette, and it is a tremendous castle. It's the most detailed castle I've seen so far. It has pumpkins at the gate, a red door, and then you can see in the windows of this castle all the things that are going on. You can see a witch in one window, you can see a black skeleton in another, a ghost in another, and then a creature that, I don't know, it's just like the king of the haunters, and then there are stars falling down through the sky. That's a pretty good one. I like that. That's by Morgan and Carolyn Trevette. The next 2 are by Isabella Ciano and Natalie Ciano. And Isabella and Natalie unfortunately chose the place where the rain runs down the window. It's a very nice one, I can see. There's a super devil in the top right-hand corner, and a nice pumpkin in the middle, and a black bat on the right-hand side. Unfortunately, I can't read what the tombstone says down in the bottom left-hand side, and then there's the moon. In a way, the streaks of the rain have made it look quite interesting. That's by Isabella Ciano. Okay, this one is by Natalie Ciano, and as I said before, the rain unfortunately got these 2. You can still see the pumpkin. You can still see the black outline of the ghost. You can see an RIP down the bottom. You can see the moon. And then there are some clouds in the sky. This is by Callium Patterson and Shanna Patterson. Patterson, I guess. Callium and Shanna. And two very large pumpkins. We have the witch on the broomstick with one leg dangling down. And we have a white floating kind of ghost. And then we have a black witch, I guess, with 3 toes on each leg. Brown hair, flying through the sky with white eyes saying boo. This is by Elissa Foley. And this is kind of different. It's got a nice solid red background. And it looks to me like this is a grandmotherly kind of witch. She's sitting down there, and she's got something green sitting on her lap. And she's got a ghost flying out behind her. There's no boos or anything being said. And I would say that the grandmotherly witch with the long blonde hair has a bit of a smile on her face. And this is by Patrick Foley. And Patrick has his mind set on the important things of the moment. And he has Boo Yankees. They have bees on their caps. And they're flying, they're Boston Red Sox ghosts. And they're going to beat those darn Yankees. Boo Yankees. Nice job, Patrick. This is by Audra Foley. So she's Patrick's sister. And Audra has a haunted house on a hilltop. And it's kind of a distant haunted house. And you can see a lot of little hills in the foreground. And goodness me, how many RIPs, gravestones are there between where we're standing and where the house is. Not surprisingly, all around the house are ghosts flying through the sky, and then it's a purple sky, and then there's a yellow sun or moon in the background. So that's pretty artistic, I would say. Nice job, Audra. This one by Henry Marius. Henry didn't do the background, so you can see through into Mahoney's Rocky Ledge of Winchester that was good enough to host this whole event. And Henry, you can see the, I guess it's a somewhat elongated pumpkin at the bottom there, and stars, and blue thingies, and red thingies. And this is Henry's sister, Ellen. And Ellen has done the background, and she has a castle that looks to me like the entrance to a medieval castle with a great portcullis in the foreground. And but a door there, and then down in the bottom left-hand corner a somewhat happy-looking ghost, and then there's the moon, and it looks like a witch flying over the top, and kind of blue background. And then this is by Sophie Olmsted and Anna Reishus, and we have a witch with a pumpkin head, or 2 witches, excuse me, with pumpkin heads flying in front of a pumpkin, and the word boo. And kind of like those 2 witches, one vertical and one horizontal, flying by in front of the pumpkin. So this is another Olmsted Reishus combination, only in this case it's Molly Olmsted and Emma Reishus. And Molly and Emma have got a great green background. Unfortunately, the rain has got a little bit of the ghost, but it doesn't really matter because it still looks quite horrific. It says boo, and the interesting thing is that the O of boo are the eyes, and the B is sticking out one side, and the exclamation mark is sticking out the other side. I guess those are the ears. And then, am I right in thinking that's a baseball bat that is in the left hand of the ghost? And this is by Raymond Pike. Raymond has the picture dominated by a very large tree with spiky limbs. Down in the bottom we have a ghost on a pumpkin. Flying by in the middle left is quite a happy looking witch on a broomstick. And then up above is a bat. And then on the right hand side, I'm not quite sure what that is. It looks like either some leaves blowing off the trees or a cloud or something. It's a pretty nice picture. Nice job, Raymond. This is by J. Jake Pike. So this is Raymond's brother. Jake is he's sticking to the traditional Halloween concept of pumpkins, bats with very nasty faces, trick or treat coming out of the mouth of the bat, and Happy Halloween in the top left hand corner. This is by Andrew Pisponen and by Adam. Andrew and Adam did together a person on a horse galloping across a field. The person has a pumpkin head, and on the back it looks to me like it might be a cat galloping across a field of tombstones in a black background. That's pretty exciting. And right at the bottom left hand corner is a little tiny pumpkin. Now on each side of Andrew's frame there is another one. On the right is one that says Go Socks, and on the left is another one with ghosts flying by, but there are no names attached to it, so maybe Andrew brought along some friends who did a little bit of extra. This next one is by Peter Gallagher. Peter has a lot of stuff on there. I can see looks like a red creature in the middle, and I can see some trees up at the top and a field down the bottom, and I can see a pumpkin to the right hand side. This is by Brendan Gallagher. Brendan also has somewhat interesting shapes in this picture. There's the bright red central creature, and then there is the green snaky thing on the left hand side with a forked tongue coming out of its mouth. This is by Henry Lynch and Owen Lynch. On the right we have a tree with pumpkins in it, and the moon, and yellow things flying in the sky, and pumpkins dropping off the tree. I didn't know that pumpkins grew on trees, but I guess they do. And then on the left we have a Go Sox, Yankees RIP concept, which is also got some cobwebs, some spiders coming down. Pretty good. This is by Henry Lynch and Owen Lynch. This one is by Whitney Sharp and Chris Sharp. And we have a green hill. Through the back of the glass you can see the Mahoney's vegetation. The top of the green hill, I think we have there a castle, pumpkins on the side of the green hill, a white ghost, a witch on a broomstick, and some yellow thingies flying off into the sky along with the bats. This is by Whitney Sharp and Chris Sharp. This is by Alexandra Connolly. Alexandra has a pumpkin-headed witch with a, I think it's a broomstick alongside her, and a really interesting colored background. It looks something like a sunset kind of background, standing by a fence. Alexandra Connolly. This is by Martina Baba, B-A-B-A. Martina has got a great sky, wonderful dark blue sky, and below it is a purple sky, and then there's a green field, and then there's a big black thingy and a pumpkin dropping off a cliff, by the looks of it to me, flying down towards the ground. And there may be some shapes on this pumpkin. I can't quite make out what they are, but altogether the blue sky, the purple, the green, and then the flying bats in the background is quite scary. Nice job, Martina. And this is by Martina's sister, Heather Baba. And Heather has got what looks to me, I'm sorry if I've got this wrong, Heather, but what it looks to me like is a large brown dog sitting on a green field, and I think I can read Go Sox on the brown dog with the purple background and the yellow stars coming out of it. So two very interesting pictures by Heather and Martina Baba.